welcome to Unheard Gems. Today we're joined by Alaena, and I'm super happy I get the chance to talk to you in face-to-face too. That's always special.
I know, like, when does this ever really get to happen? We're both on the same side of the country.
And so, I know you just drove in today,
Yeah.
so how are you feeling after that drive?
You know what? Actually, it was not too bad. It was like a 6-hour drive, and because I was in Pittsburgh, and basically my best friend drove the entire time, but I was co-piloting, so I didn't sleep, but I felt like it just happened so fast, and all of a sudden we were here, and I was like, oh, okay.
That's nice that it
I'm
went
not feeling
quickly.
too tired. We got a little bit of sleep, but I'm probably gonna be exhausted by the end of the night.
Yeah.
This place is crazy in the first place, you know.
For sure.
New York.
And so, sort of just for our watchers and listeners to get to know you a little bit, can you tell us about your musical story? What's your origin story, and how have you become who you are today in music?
Yeah, so I've always been very interested in music since I was young, and I listened to like every style of music. I didn't really have like a favorite genre or anything like that, but I ended up getting into a metal band playing keyboards, and it was just like my spark of knowing what it was like to perform. I can always recall the feeling the first time I performed. It was like for like 3 people, but it was an actual show, performed, and I was like, oh my god, this is like the best feeling I've ever felt in my entire life. And I was like, this is what I'm doing for the rest of my life. It's like 15, and from then it was like my goal to like make that a reality. So I've always been performing, and I had the bands I was in, and I went from one band to the next band to the next band, and ended up being in a internationally touring metal band. But I felt like it wasn't like mine. Do you know what I mean? Because I was joining other people's bands,
Not
so
yours.
it was. I needed something that I felt like I could call my own, and like that I could say like I built this from the ground up. And I've always loved pop music, and it was something that kind of just like pulled me in. I felt like something I could speak my voice, and I could put a twist onto pop that I felt like didn't necessarily have at the time, with my roots in metal and everything, and like the angst that I have that I've been trying to figure out how to let go of, and it kind of just all pulled together. So I'm really excited with what I'm doing now. It's like, it's fulfilling my brain perfectly, you know? Yeah.
And so, when I hear your music and when I see you in person, you remind me a lot of an artist like Clover the Girl or Girl Wild.
Oh, I love
Who
Clover the Girl.
had-
She's so sweet.
They're awesome.
Mhm.
And I feel like they've sort of taken that alt-pop thing and made it their own, and I feel like that's something very similar to
Yeah.
what you're doing, but in a different way.
Yeah, Clover, she's like so 90s. I am like obsessed with her. The like, way that she's like branded herself recently. I'm like, girl, you look hot. You look so good. And her music too. I remember I put it on my playlist, and my best friend, and both of my friends that came with me to New York, before they were playing one of the songs, and I was like, oh, how'd you hear this song? She's like, oh, I heard it on your playlist. I love it. I was like, yes, it was her song. So yeah,
Sort of like
Even When It Hurts is the
it's
song.
so good.
I know.
I love that song so much.
I know. Shut up, girl. Love you.
But so, sort of, you've done sort of a similar thing where you're taking that alt-pop sound and making it your own. So how would
Yeah.
you describe your sound? How would you characterize it?
So I really feel like my alternative edge comes from like my angsty, it's just natural for me, like to have like this angsty vibe, I guess, but I'm really not like that. I'm like super sweet, and it's just something that comes natural to me. My mom's always like, when are you gonna write a song about rainbows and butterflies? I'm like, I'm sorry, that's just not me. Like, if you wanted to raise a child that was about rainbows and butterflies, you should have raised a child that was about rainbows and butterflies, but you didn't. So I feel like I kind of pull that natural angst into the alternative, but then also I have like a dark essence to me. I've always been obsessed with like symphonic orchestrations and just like, I call it like elf music. Like, I don't know, I could listen to the classical channel and just like hear every little thing and be so intrigued by like what's going on. And I used to try and make my own orchestrations and stuff and my own elf music. And that's why I kind of like twist in with my pop music, and I always like to have like different little random sounds that I create, and these dark chords that I feel like are come naturally to me when I play piano, and it's what I write best over. So I don't know. I mean, I think that that's like, it all was grouped together with the metal because that was like dark and angsty, but with pop, I can actually express how I feel instead of being stuck behind like a keyboard and not being able to say what I wanted to say, you know? So I think that's kind of like where I set myself apart from, you know, everyone else has their own style, don't get me wrong, but mine I feel like is different, just like how Clover's is different and how everybody else has their own little thing that makes them special.
Their own little niche.
Yeah, they channeled that, and that's exactly like what you need to do, is channel that what you're good at and not try to be something that you're not.
Yeah. So your newest track is called I Wanna, and I feel like it's still like a little bit more pop than your previous releases, and sort of when I was listening to it, it was like 2007 Avril Lavigne, but pop influences of today.
I love that.
That's like sort of the vibe.
Really? I love it. It's so amazing. We wrote that song, it was like a couple years ago, and I'd never released it because I wasn't in the right headspace for that song. So I felt like if I were to put it out, it wasn't going to be true, because even though I wrote it from a true place, I never put it out when I was in that place. So trying to do like, let's say, press or talking to fans about it, I would feel like I was faking it, you know? So I wanted to wait until I got to that point where I could actually talk about what was going on and feel comfortable with what I was saying and, you know, not just go through the motions. So that song definitely is a little bit more pop, but it has the angsty feeling, even though the lyrics aren't like, I hate you, you know, it's not like, it's not me, it's you. You know, it's very, like, you pulled me in and why are you giving me mixed signals? Like, why can't you just tell me how you feel, you know? But, yeah, our goal was, like, very 90s Britney Spears with all the harmonies and stuff stacked in the chorus, but, like, Avril Lavigne is one of the, I feel like, big influences when it comes, I always get that a lot, is like, can I have like this Avril Lavigne vibe? I'm like, cool. I like her.
Yeah, she's awesome. And so you've also aimed to have new songs released every 5 weeks leading up to your debut EP, Guilty Pleasures.
Yes.
So what can you tell us about the EP, and then how has it been releasing all these singles?
So the EP has been in the works for like the past year and a half. And I've had the EP done and then scratched and then done and then scratched a million times. Not because I didn't like the songs, because I wanted to wait until my fan base is at a certain point where I feel comfortable putting out a body of work. Because now, with how streaming is, I feel like you put out like a 6-song EP, most of the people are only going to hear like the first 3 songs before they skip through, unless you have like your diehard fans. And I want to make sure I have enough diehard fans that I feel like my music's reaching the right people, you know? So it keeps getting postponed, and then some of those songs will become singles, and then I keep working more towards that EP, and new songs keep going on it until I figure out when I think is a good time, because I don't want to just throw it out there and then that's it. And it's like, okay.
Yeah.
Well, if I were to re-release some of these songs that it's like at the bottom of the EP, people wouldn't even know that it was already released. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I've kind of just been trying really hard to build with the singles and doing as much as I can before I feel like it's that time. That's why I try and never give like an exact date for an EP release, because it's coming, but
it needs to come at the right time.
It needs to come at the right. Everything's about timing, and I'm not pushing it because I don't have the music. I definitely have the music for it. I just don't want my music to float in space, you know? And those songs are going to get released, and more songs will be added to the EP. It's just when the fan base is right, and I feel like the right people will hear it, then it's going to come out.
For sure. And so then I also have to say, I'm beyond impressed with your skill, just even outside of the direct realm of your music. You direct and edit your music videos and are in charge of that creative process.
Yeah.
So what's it like to come up with these concepts, which seem so out of the box sometimes, and create all that?
It's really funny because actually most of the time whenever I'm releasing a single, I'll think of how I want the music video to be as I'm like putting together the artwork, and I really try and go along, like especially on like social media and stuff, like my brand for each single will have its own vibe and it'll follow along. So when the video comes out, it's gonna kind of sit in that same box, you know? So I kind of start to like get ideas of how I want it to look whenever I'm coming up with the release plan. And then usually it's like a week before I film the video. I'm like, hey, do you want to film a video this week? And they're like, yeah, okay. So then I start coming up with the concept. So it's like, usually it's like very ADD. So I feel like my mind knows what it's supposed to be like. And then I'm like, all right, let's think of the concept. Let's just get in there. And most of the time, like a lot of the stuff is just winging it because it's only me and I can only do so much. And if I'm going to write out, like, I can't have a huge, big, like, you know, treatment and like storyline and everything when the only person that's in it is me and my friend that was helping me film it. You know, it's hard to make sure that all the pieces and all your ducks are in a row when it's just you two. So we would always do our best and make sure that, you know, it was cohesive to a point where like you get the feeling of Alaena and not, you know, something that is completely not me.
For sure.
So yeah, I just like do random stuff in my videos.
But I love that.
It's always like it's always like we'll have the locations and like what the set is gonna look like, and then what I do in it is always just from my brain.
That's awesome.
Yeah, what just happens, like then we'll go through and see what works.
Improvisations.
Yeah,
Really
exactly. It's definitely something else.
And so I always really like to know what things artists wish they had known when they were first starting out. So if you could give advice to your younger self starting out in music or someone else interested in pursuing a similar path as you, what advice would you wish you would have been given, or what would you say to them?
So I always told myself this advice, but I started to not follow it, and then I had to reteach myself this advice because you should always go with what you think is right for you, not what everyone else thinks is right for you. I've always been the person that was like, no, I'm doing this my way because that's what I think is right. Then it got to a point where I think I started getting a little bit insecure, and I started letting other people have their hands in my project and started pushing it in directions that I felt wasn't necessarily me, but I was made to think was right, you know what I mean? And it ended up, like, as soon as I found myself again, I was like, no, like, I need to keep going on my path, because that's when things happen. Whenever people see an identity and they see something that is true and authentic and raw, that's whenever people connect with it and they want to keep listening. You know, every once in a blue moon, you'll find something that is completely, like, not authentic at all, and they'll have a great hit song. But after that, what songs are they going to have after that?
Where do you go?
You know what I mean? It's like, where do you go from there? So that's something that I feel like everybody should just always stick to their gut feelings. Take advice, but also don't let it change your mind. Don't be like stubborn. Always take advice and listen and learn and want to grow. But know if you feel like you're doing something wrong that you think is supposed to be right, don't let anybody.
For sure.
Yeah.
So sort of moving a bit away from your music, your fashion and aesthetic have definitely been a huge part of your branding, especially your Instagram, your website. It's a ton, just I feel like, of cool images and photos, starting from more neutral tones to now you have a lot of cool statement pieces in your clothing and cool hair. So how would you say fashion plays a role in expression?
So I was always like really a strange person in fashion when I was like younger and like high school and stuff. I didn't know what I was doing at all, but I'd never, and I felt like that kind of played to my advantage because I was like wearing like DC shoes with a baby fat, like velvet pants with like a written baby fat on the butt and like diamonds or not diamonds of course, but like
The
rhinestones, yes. And I don't know, some skater shirt, and I was just like, I had no clue what I was doing. And but that mixed matchy, like kind of like being okay with mixing styles and letting that be me. it's kind of like how I started evolving with that. And I mean, I was like a cheerleader, and I would always wear like my big band t-shirts over top of my cheerleading uniform. So I was just really did not care ever. And I don't know. I feel as though when I put my clothes together, it's just sometimes someone's got to tell me like, Alaena, you're wearing like 7 different colors right now, and your hair is pink, so chill out. I'm like, okay, yeah, maybe you're right. But if I feel like they're so wrong, I'll just be like, no. And then I'll wear it and be like, see, it looks kind of cool, right? It looks nice. But I have like, I don't know, I kind of just see where, this is just, I don't know, it feels, it's like a natural thing for me. Every time I go shopping, I'm never buying like normal clothes. It's kind of a problem because when it comes time to like have to go do something, like, I don't know, a family thing, I'm like, shit, I don't want to wear anything. Like, I really don't. I'm like, uh-oh. Can't wear like a see-through shirt or a band shirt that says pissed on it. Like, it's not gonna work. But yeah, visually is a big thing for my brand, and I feel like it's really important because I always loved Lady Gaga, and I felt like she was like one of the first ones I really idolized as far as like a brand, and people wanted to dress up like her, people wanted to look like her, people would dress up like her for Halloween, and like that's how I saw I wanted my wave to go. Mm-hmm. Now everybody's like very, like alternative and have their own like, which I'm so happy about. I'm so happy that everybody's like feeling good to just dress however they want instead of feeling like they have to look a certain way. But that's like where my brain is. I just want to be different and not feel like I care about what other people think, because I don't. Like, who cares?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I do have a few like rapid fire fashion questions for you, just because I feel like it's totally fun. So if you could have only one hair color for the next 5 years, what color would it be?
5 years? Yeah. Oh God.
I was gonna say life, but I felt like that was long.
Blonde, but like icy white.
Okay.
Icy white blonde.
And so you wear a lot of cool necklaces and shoes in your photos. If you had to, which one do you think ties an outfit together? Which one would you sacrifice completely, and which one would you have as your main statement?
For shoes and necklace?
Yeah.
Okay, so shoes, I have to wear these black boots that have, oh no, Doc Martens. Doc Martens, sorry. Doc Martens forever. And then necklace, ball chain choker.
Okay, any fashion icons?
I mean, I Courtney Love. I'm obsessed with her, and I love how she can just be naturally her and dress the way she does, and she still looks the same as she gets older. Like, nothing's changed as far as like she dresses the same. She still has this like grunge aesthetic to her. I don't know. I think she's like such a cool. And it's different because I'm not looking at a fashion icon in a way it's like they're wearing crazy clothes, just like how they've carried themselves like through fashion evolution, and they still stay true to who they are. You know what I mean?
For sure.
That's why I've always really liked her.
Okay, one last one.
Mm-hmm.
If you were to give your upcoming EP, however it is right now, an outfit, what outfit would it be?
What outfit would it be? It would be it would be this is, if I'm thinking like eclectically, because I have so many different styles in there so like if I was thinking Britney, I would definitely have, okay, so here we go. A rhinestone like big choker that goes across like this, and then into a almost bondagey black chop with a blue, no, we'll do pink pink, like one of these. It's kind of see-through and just by itself. And then bottoms would be a long, like, fluffy skirt to, like, here. And then maybe, like, here, boots that are platform, like this. They come up to, like, here. And then I would come up with some kind of cool thing with, instead, because I've been using safety pins for a while, but I feel like everybody's been doing like a safety pin thing now. So I've been trying to like incorporate screws. I like did this one thing where I put screws in my hair. They look really cool. So I want to figure out a way to make some kind of like body thing, like that would like kind of drape and hang. So it kind of hangs from my sleeve, and it's just like screws dangling and like. Thank you. Now you got me thinking.
So now it's like EP teasers without telling us anything really about the EP.
I know. There you go. Just buying an outfit. Oh, that would be so beautiful. And a big, long, flowy. This wouldn't go with this. This is just on the outside for another outfit. Big, long, flowy cape with a hood.
For sure. Yeah. And so I just like to know, when we get towards the end of the interview, who are you listening to and who do you think deserves more attention right now, musically?
Okay, so I've been obsessed with a lot of upcoming artists. Like, I love Youngblood, I love Oliver Tree, I love, I really like the direction Halsey's been going, and I mean, I've always been a fan of her, but I really feel like something sounds more true in her music right now than, like, the past, like, year. I really like Billie Eilish, but I feel like
gotten a lot of attention.
Yeah, she's gotten a lot of attention, so it's not like she needs attention, you know?
Yeah.
As far as artists, I feel like he should be bigger. There's this artist called Call Me Charisma, who, he's still big, but I think that he deserves, like, a lot more attention, and he should be, like, on the radio, and he just speaks for such, like, really true, meaningful words that is helping so many kids, and I don't know, his music, he's really amazing songwriter. Like, I'm like, he used to send me stuff all the time, like, how the hell do you just, like, everything you're saying is so, like, it's touching my heart. Like, you got a gift, man. So, he definitely, I think, deserves more attention. Females, I gotta stick up for my girl, she's been working hard, and she is really good.
She has so many good songs out right now.
So, yeah.
And so sort of just wrapping up, is there anything you want to leave us with? Any words of advice, anywhere we can follow you, anything that we should know about you that we haven't talked about? Just sort of the big open-ended.
Okay, so she is Alaena on Instagram and Twitter. Alaena on Spotify. It's ALAENA. And that's the same thing with YouTube. It's Alaena, ALAENA. Let's see. My words of advice is just, and I know it's corny and cheesy, but to, like, don't give up on yourself in any aspect in life. Like, just keep pushing and don't think that, like, you can't achieve more, because let me tell you, you can. Whenever you feel like you've worked the hardest you could and nothing great is coming, or if maybe something small and great came, you're like, oh, I can't work any harder than this. You can work harder. You push yourself and you reach those goals that you never thought were attainable, because it's just that little bit of push that will, like, tip you right over to the next level. So, yeah, I think just never give up on yourself. It's a big motivational saying.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us, and I'll put all of the links to your social media and everything in the description of this video and in the post we put on Unheard Gems, so everyone can find it. There's no excuse.
Yeah, no excuse.
I'm gonna lose my mind, go crazy inside. I need to cross the line to get through to you, and I'm still falling.